Hey everyone, really quick before we get started here, we are doing things differently with the podcast on YouTube. I know that's a scary phrase, but don't worry, don't freak out. We're going to tell you right away how we're doing things differently. And that is we are going to be uploading via segments, just like this one, to YouTube. So here on YouTube, the podcast is always going to be in segment form. But if you like to listen to the whole thing through, we are still going to be uploading the audio in its full form. And you can get that on Podbean or wherever app you use to listen to podcasts via audio. The only difference there is that it's going to be going up on Friday from now on because of time constraints for us. So everything you've been listening to, you can still get it. It's just going to be a little bit different timing and a little bit different format if you're listening or watching here on YouTube. All right, that's it. Let's get into it.
But speaking of not functioning properly, John, I want to talk about what Street Fighter V did wrong.
Oh, okay.
Because
that was going in a different direction.
No, definitely not. Too much love for you, dog, for that one, and not enough love for Street Fighter V. Even though I really love the game, just where it went. Damn it, did Capcom mess up here? And I've got 4 things that I want Capcom to do better in the future. And this is simply it. It's like, look, they messed up on too much stuff, and I want to get right into it.
Now, when you say the future, do you mean Street Fighter 6? Let's not mince our words here. Street Fighter 6, this is what we want to see. This is how you clean stuff up. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. It's a little known secret that the odd games in this franchise are cursed. It's just like the Star Trek movies. It all started with Street Fighter 1. It was successful enough to spawn a sequel, but it took a while to get that sequel out there, and that sequel was originally going to be Final Fight. But they changed the name of it. They're like, yeah, we're going to call this Street Fighter 89. Everyone's like, this is not Street Fighter. Don't do it. And yeah, so that's how lukewarmish people were on the game initially. It wasn't that big of a deal. We need to return to the roots of Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4. Those games are not cursed, right? Those are the most well thought of games in the entire franchise, pretty much. If you ask people around, like, it's going to be...
You just pissed off the Third Strike fanboys and girls. Well, no, that's fine. You guys can tweet him at Catalyst, each Catalyst, whatever it is. There's text on it.
Yeah, you could put my name up there, right? And just say, like, tweet at this. So anyway, so speaking of Street Fighter 3, while that is well thought of in a lot of people's eyes in the hardcore scene, if you check out Capcom's Platinum titles, it's the one entry in the numbered series besides the first game, which does not have anything there for reaching 1 million in sales. So it would be cool if, that game was a commercial success. It was not. And so, yeah, the curse lives on, right? And of course we have Street Fighter 5. The game has... how many sins could we list of Street Fighter 5 if we really tried? Do you think like 1,000?
Oh, that sounds like a cool YouTube content video for us to do at some point. If we wanted to take like 6 months out of our life to count them up, I guess that's your answer there. It'd take about 6 months to make a video about that.
Yes. So when Street Fighter 4 was in development, Capcom talked a lot about bringing Street Fighter 2 players back. They wanted to get people to feel that root, that just old school kind of mentality and other stuff. And that was a big thing. And I know Ono talked about it a lot. I know they got Seth Killian back on board by doing that kind of stuff. They're like, hey, we're working on Street Fighter 4.
This is my dad.
Yes, exactly. Shout outs to your Twitter profile page there. But anyway, keep in mind, I'm saying actually to reboot Street Fighter 6 and bring back the classic Street Fighter gameplay that people love. I'm not saying to rework it. I'm saying to reboot it. You bring back the parts of Street Fighter 4 that worked, the parts of Street Fighter 2 that worked. You refresh them. You make them a new iteration. And just to give people, this is not a reimagining of Street Fighter like we've seen kind of with Street Fighter 5 and other stuff like that. This is a rebooting of it. And if you don't believe me that that's a good thing to do, look at Mario and look at Zelda. They have been doing the exact same thing since the Nintendo 64 days, so more than 20 years, and those franchises basically continue to iterate on the same formula. In the Super Nintendo days, like, yes, Mario and Zelda played different, but as soon as they went 3D, they pretty much have kind of the same gameplay formula. Of course, they make massive improvements, but the same core gameplay, the same way those games play, is similar, right? In Street Fighter, go ahead. So it sounds like, you got some issues with that. Yeah.
But I hear a million voices rising up to talk about how things like Breath of the Wild is like a very open sandbox game, and there are you're right, but you're not accurate kind of a thing coming up right now. But at the same time, to all those people, we're talking about a particular axis. So yes, there's vast differences between certain Mario games, certain Zelda games. Of course there are. But we're talking about the thread that runs through all of them, the formula. And you know what's weird? I was watching a Zelda video this morning, talking about this and talking about Ocarina of Time specifically. We won't get into details there, but that there's a through line, that they have found a formula that works pretty well, and they continue to use very, very foundational parts of that formula. I can agree with that.
Yes. Now, this goes down to, in my opinion, not fixing what ain't broken, right? And if you love tried and true Street Fighter gameplay, you love that, fireball uppercut, the classic Ryu kind of stuff that pretty much Capcom, is it fair to say they invented it? I think so. It's at least they're the ones who made it the most popular, right? And when you get away from that, when you start going, okay, you start losing the essence of what Street Fighter is at that point. And you and I both agree that, in terms of the fireball uppercut game in Street Fighter 5, it's finally good now in this season, but in past years it hasn't really been there. And that is a tried and true aspect of Street Fighter. It's when you don't have that, it's not Street Fighter anymore. It's if you mess with hardcore with his jump arc to the point where he can barely jump, he only has this tiny little hop or something like that. It's not Mario anymore. If Link can't kill stuff with his sword and he has to use all of his other tools, but his sword it does 1 damage and every enemy's got 100 life or whatever. It's it stops being Zelda. And this is my issue here with Street Fighter 5. Even though I love the game, the fireball uppercut, the classic thing where if you pick up this game, and who doesn't play Ryu at least a little bit, right? And you can't even do that, you've gone too far away from what this game should be.
Yeah, that's yeah, this is murky waters, because there's a lot of but and little well, I agree with you. I agree with you at a foundational level, and I do think that there is an expectation that Street Fighter players have, and we might not even be able to articulate exactly what that is, until you really sit and think about it, dig down into why do I enjoy this particular real-time problem-solving puzzle in the way it exists, and you might say in the way that it exists separate to other fighting games like Marvel or Tekken. When an artist puts something out there, it becomes not theirs anymore in a significant way. And in the same way that if, like you're saying, if famous authors George R.R. Martin or J.K. Rowling or whomever changes some fundamental things that they themselves set up and should have creative control over to the nth degree, people are going to get pissed off. And that it's going to be a huge deal, and it's at a certain point it becomes not yours anymore, and you still have to make it, but you can't mess with it. And I think there's part of that in the essence of what the expectations are for Street Fighter, and when you deviate from those too far, when it becomes too much of a Marvel kind of game as opposed to a Street Fighter game, people get pissed off, and we saw that happen a lot in the way Street Fighter 5 worked.
Yes. And looking back at it now, if you look at Street Fighter 2, obviously that's where the fireball uppercut game, that kind of style pioneered for the most part. It happened a little bit in Street Fighter 1, but you were lucky in that game if you could throw out moves, right?
Yeah.
But you look at Street Fighter 3, they had to go away from that because of parries. Parries actually completely negated basically that classic fireball zoning game. Shout outs to Street Fighter 3 not even being able to sell 1 million copies as far as we know on any platform.
Yeah, across one axis, but a lot of people still found that game fun to play in the Street Fighter identity, right?
It's maybe the least successful commercial Street Fighter game ever done.
Sure.
And outside of Street Fighter 1. So again, this is what I'm talking kind of about the masses here, because the hardcore people, they'll kind of pick up stuff and go with it. But you look at the games that nailed it, that's Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4. You could do the fireball uppercut game not only with Ryu, but a bunch of other characters in Street Fighter 4. You look at it in Street Fighter 5, and it's hit and miss. It's there now, finally, in this season. I'm playing Rose. She can do that pretty darn well. I think even, Nikali, even to some degree now can do it, with his ground pound and uppercut and other stuff like that. You're seeing that kind of mid-range zoning style that this franchise is known for coming back, right? I remember Harada talking about it a lot, where he was look, adding fireballs into Tekken Cross Street Fighter, if that ever happens, is a huge deal. That you need to make projectiles something important because they are iconic to what Street Fighter is.
Yeah.
They are so important to it. And that's why a lot of people did not like Street Fighter 3, because fireballs weren't entirely negated, but they were definitely dialed back a lot.
So
right?
I don't want to get too stuck on this point, but I also there's something I want to dig into here, because the way this has been set up so far, if I wanted to pick at or try to punch a hole in your boat, so to speak, I might say something like, well, you say that you need a fireball uppercut style of play. Some of the characters don't even have fireballs or uppercuts, and they're in Street Fighter. Rectify that for me.
Well, okay, it's about having a diversity of styles, actually, and gameplay styles. That actually brings me to my next point, and that's twofold here. The second thing that Capcom needs to do to fix Street Fighter kind of where it's at is have more launch characters and more gameplay diversity in those characters. And to directly answer your question, so let me break this down. It's going to be a little bit long form. I'm going to give you the politician answer, right? You ask a simple question. I'm like, well, let me take a while to answer that and answer it in a variety of ways, right?
Listen to Politician John.
So here it is. Street Fighter 4, when it hit the consoles, it launched with 25 characters. Street Fighter 5 launched with 16. Smash Ultimate had 74, Tekken 7, 37, and Mortal Kombat 11, 25. Street Fighter 5's launch roster is pretty paltry by that comparison, and with that, your opportunities to have gameplay diversity in the characters were also limited. We had the brawler grappler archetypes, we had 1/4 of the launch cast with that approach kind of thing. And this is usually a pretty, like, grappler types and fighting games are pretty niche. You usually have 2 or something like that on the launch roster. You don't have as many as this game, and it's why so many people are like Grappler Fighter 4 or Grappler Fighter 5, sorry. I get my numbers confused there.
Sure.
Then of course you had the Rushdown style, right, which has been hardcore dominant in Street Fighter 5, and that was filled up by Cammy, Karen, Kin, M. Bison, Necalli, and Rashid. All characters who have either been at the top of the tier list are at the very top. Like I know Bison was kind of started out kind of whatever, but he got up there, right? Rashid started out as whatever and then became like the top character in the game. I'm naming the big time killers in this game. Kin has been mixed after season 1 and kind of maybe season 2, but he was up there at some point in time. That's 6 characters, all Rushdown style, who. Yeah, so okay, so then you have your long-range zoners and Dhalsim and Fong, right? And the latter of which has pretty much been a non-factor at high levels of play. Dhalsim's been in there, so he's fine, but 2 characters occupying that long-range kind of zoner role, right? Finally, we come to the mid-range zoners, and these are, again, when I say mid-range zoners, I'm often talking about the fireball uppercuts are like they play from mid-range, do a lot of fireballs usually to kind of like get you to jump and then anti-air you. So that would be Ryu, Chun-Li, Nash, and Vega, right? And this also can be coupled in Vega would be keeping you at bay with long-reaching normals, right? Now, Vega's not going to play from full screen. He's going to play from mid-screen, mid-range zoners, right? All those characters, when they were winning, like when Chun-Li and Ryu were winning, they were winning on getting in your face and doing mix-ups. Same thing with Nash. Nash was, he was doing a few fireballs. He was doing more than Ryu and Chun-Li were, but not a lot.
He was dashing up to you and making your life hell because you couldn't see the advances, and then he was just there and could do his thing. Yeah.
Yes, so you had 4 characters filling that archetype, but none of them were particularly good at that. And so this whole thing kind of like, it was just like, all right, this whole thing that we're known for, this whole thing that makes Street Fighter doesn't work that well in this game.
Well, wait, because those are, you just named like the 3 best characters in the game in season 1, right? Nash, Chun, and Ryu, and then maybe you could talk about Mika there too. But you're saying long term, like just clarify that for me real quick, because
okay. So Ryu and Chun-Li, when they were winning, and so was Nash, they were doing it.
They were doing it via Rushdown. They weren't doing it.
They were doing it via Rushdown. Exactly. Cool. And so you've taken this whole gameplay style, you've altered Mario's jump arc, you've altered Link's sword ability and stuff. Like, he just doesn't have the attacks. It doesn't work like it used to. And it's like, that's an iconic moment in gaming history that you've taken off the table, or you've mitigated it. I shouldn't say taken off the table, because you can do some fireball uppercuts or that mid-range zoning in this game. It's such a nil factor overall. And what I want to see Capcom do to fix this is have more launch characters this next time around. Not have freaking 16, but have maybe like 26. That would give you 10 more characters. And just to fill in some of the blanks here on some of the characters, if they did 26 and they just released the same next 10 characters, you would have gotten people like Guile, Colleen, and Manat in the next batch. And instead of having to wait a year where a lot of people had checked out on Street Fighter V for the lack of content, lack of other stuff, you would have had those characters in there from the launch, and they would have been, impacting the game. Like, you can zone with Colleen, you can zone with Guile, you can zone with Menat. That stuff was all missing for the game for about a year. And that's how come I think the small roster and the lack of gameplay diversity in that, like, it was a death knell for this game in terms of people who wanted the classic Street Fighter experience in there.
Yeah, and I don't think we can talk about like launch expectations without getting at least a little bit into the fact that I think much of Street Fighter V's problems started with the fact that the whole thing was rushed, right? Because it wasn't just a 16 character roster that needed more characters in this case. It was also an incomplete game in multiple parts of the game, right? Single player content and no store and the roster and the list goes on, and like the regulations for online with no penalties for rage quitting. There were plenty. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on some of the points you're going to bring up in the future.
I mean, it's hard not to. You mentioned anything about Street Fighter V, and you're gonna talk about the million things we've got to bring up here, right?
But, and I appreciate that you're very much digging into the details there. But in terms of changing what happened with Street Fighter V, one of the very first places that you go is say, don't rush it out. Don't try to get it out for a CPT season. If it's not ready, it is not worth it, guys. Developers, investors, hear me when I say take the sacrifice of delaying whatever you need to do, get that stuff done. And I think they know that too. I think that they've learned that lesson for the knock wood.
Ono left. He's now with another company and stuff like that. And we heard the rumors that it basically the Street Fighter 6 kind of got messed up and they needed another year of development time, and they're taking it basically. So we'll see what happens there. So the number one thing I just mentioned was, of course, bring back the classic tried and true Street Fighter gameplay as close to Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4 as you can. The two most beloved entries in the franchise. Bring back that core gameplay. Next is have a bigger launch roster with more diverse gameplay in there, kind of thing. Get as much of the classic stuff people love in there. Get an FADC character, or 2 or 3 of them in there right from the get-go, since people love FADCs. Like, do stuff like that to bring it back, right? So those are number 1 and 2. The third thing here to fix out of the 4 is launch with strong single-player content. I know this is going to be pretty damn obvious, and I'm going to make an easy comparison here, and that's the 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter. That came out a couple years ago, and you can still go back and play the vast majority of the games in there and have a really good single-player experience. There are a bunch of endings, and there's so much content to go through for a fighting game. I actually just recently completed Rose's arcade mode in Street Fighter V, and I actually think that Street Fighter 2 has a better overall executed arcade mode. And that game came out 30 years ago.
That game set the standard for it, didn't it? Like, that was the... again, not to say that Street Fighter 2 was the first to do all of these things, but also history is written by the winners, and it kind of was the first to do a lot of these things.
It was written by Capcom! It was written by their own damn company! Sorry, but anyway, you were saying.
Well, in what ways, like, particularly was Street Fighter 2's, like, what are the perks of it that we were missing from... Well, obviously, Street Fighter 5, we didn't have an arcade mode, but when we did get an arcade mode, what were the perks that 5 doesn't have?
I mean, it actually has actual endings. Right now, if you beat arcade mode with Rose or any other character, you get one panel, and her panel is like her pulling the wrong card and Zeku coming up and going, ha ha ha, you pulled the wrong card, and then it ends. And it's like, what? And the presentation is terrible. There's no rolled map that you go and you fly around. There's no, like, it doesn't set up the boss characters all. There's no intro, like, text.
The boss characters, the separation, one that you, like, at least in the first ones, couldn't play as them. They were separated, and there was something special about that. Now, I get it today, in this day and age, you don't, that's not as common, maybe, except for maybe one, like, Super Mortal Kombat boss. I guess they still do that kind of a thing, but... In Street Fighter, it's like we've assimilated all the boss characters into the playable characters. I get it, but there was something magical about that, and beating them meant something because they were hard, and it was like you got to a new level when you were able to beat Vega, Balrog, and Sagat, and then eventually Bison, and then hey, I didn't do it as a kid, but Akuma, damn, there was magic about that.
Even Street Fighter 4 has a proper presentation for their arcade mode. Like you launch it up there, your character intro pops up there, and they're like, "This is why I'm fighting or what I'm doing," and then you have an actual ending on top of it. You don't have a one panel. And I get that it got replaced by the character story modes and a bunch of other stuff, but it's like arcade mode's a really important thing for fighting games. It always has been, and it's like it's just not done very well. It's like minimal effort was put into it.
Can I say, as I think about it actively right now, and this might be an article I end up writing as I investigate it further, but is there a case where you say in Street Fighter, bring back the unlockable characters? I know that's scary at first, but I had a lot of fun figuring out how, and then trying to play through the arcades with different characters to unlock the new ones, right? Because in vanilla Street Fighter 4, you couldn't get the characters unless you played through and beat it with certain requirements met, like don't throw a punch or don't throw a block or beat it with this character or whatever. And my main was the very last one you would unlock, if I recall correctly, because you had to get
Something
everybody
like
else.
that, yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. That felt like progress. Now I know everybody wants to jump in and be able to play as the character that they want, but there's plenty of blocks to the characters you're able to play in terms of DLC content. And when they run these free trials, they'll just give you a handful to get you to come in. So, I don't know. I had a lot of fun unlocking them. I wonder though, is that too much of a block to the players that just want to get in there and start training with their character? They don't want to be bothered with single player content.
I don't think that the concept is a problematic thing, because it's like I look at like survival mode and what they've done in adding all the items and other stuff like that, and that's actually cool. That makes the gameplay more fun. It's like, do I want to spend and get like all of my meter back or half of my life back or whatever and spend an item on it? I think you can take that and iterate it on your single player content that way. Like, hey, I need help with arcade mode. Let me unlock Sagat's eye patch, which gives me 50% more health or a damage boost or whatever. Can I use some of my boost here to get through arcade mode? That's actually fun, and it increases, as you like to call, the dopamine drips, because there's multiple ways to consume the game at that point. You can do missions, you can do any kind of thing to give yourself fight money or anything like that. There's a million ways to modernize Street Fighter and make it an actual experience, versus like I'm just playing against a computer and like I'm hitting a button and just kind of waiting for them to die and then nothing happens. And it's just nothing happens. It's like you're literally just facing the computer, and it's like, where's the presentation? Where's the polish? Where's anything?
Where's the drive that makes me feel like this is important and significant, and like I'm making progress when I do these steps, and why like it matters that I get this extra life back or this extra meter back. And I think you're primarily, what comes to my mind is survival mode in Street Fighter V, and
Yes.
how like just empty of a process, and it was like all it was boring until it was frustrating. And so
Yes.
even when they updated it and add a little bit more to it with items and things like that down the line, like even then it was such a sour taste in my mouth that I gave it a try, like maybe just to be able to write about it a bit. But I never wanted to go back to survival mode. It was just such a time slog. I mean, at times the game felt like a time slog, but yeah, like you really need to think about that, which every game is based on now, that feeling of set up something that's meaningful, that makes your players want to pursue it and give them that reward and get them on that cycle. Like survival mode just missed that boat completely.
Yeah, and you look at Mortal Kombat with stuff like the Crypt and other things, and of course a single player campaign that's compelling. People went through and just did the Crypt to do it because it was fun. And you look at how well the NRS games sell, and it's like it's very clear that you need to kind of redo how you do your single player content. I mean, Street Fighter V is just a hallmark of how to do single player content completely wrong. And I can't think of a single part of Street Fighter V single player content where it's like, oh, this is a standout moment that's great. Like even the story mode, it's freaking Bison playing chess or some crap like that. Like I played through it twice and I still can't make heads or tails of half of the crap that's going on in there. The only thing I remember is like just standout moments of like Zangief, blocking a katana with his chest hair, and like some of the dolls
with his chest hair. That's the most important part of the story.
I mean, there's some standout moments and stuff, but the thing is just not cohesive at all. And it's another thing of like, okay, don't ever do that again, is pretty much what it comes down to. Like this was just a massive, colossal failure from a single player standpoint.
I don't think they will do it again, though. Well, did you have an important part to get to? Okay.
No, hit it,
I don't think that they will do that again, because what happened with Street Fighter V to me felt like, the core of it was super rushed and they had to get stuff out there. So what they seemed to do was take like kind of hollow imitations of what they were seeing other people do with things like
Yes.
having an in-game economy, having a cinematic story mode, all of that kind of stuff, a survival mode. They were trying to imitate the things that they've seen work, but it didn't have that actual substance in it that made it good. It was like, I liken it to like a little brother or sister seeing a bigger sibling tell a joke and seeing that joke land, and they go, I know that the joke landed, and I want to have people laugh and me be the center of attention. So they tell the same joke like immediately later, but they lack the understanding of the timing or the fact that it was just spoken and then just said, and then no one laughs at their joke, and they go, I don't know why. It's because even though you told the same joke, there was not the same substance behind it. There's so much more to it, and so it's like a hollow imitation of what that was.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with the words hollow imitation of what we saw them doing and stuff, and a lot of reasons for that. But again, we just don't want to see that happen again.
Right.
Like, it's just that it's shocking that games that are 30 years old are around that timeline are better than Street Fighter V, a modern game, for single player content. It's awful. But
You
moving
should
on
be
here.
standing on their shoulders, not like looking up at them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's some exceptions and stuff. I to give a little bit of credit, I do think some of the character story modes are really cool. I like Colleen's, I like Rose's, I like G's and Manat's, and there's a few ones that Sagat's is great. You know, there's a few ones that are really good, but a lot of them are just not memorable. You know, and when you're having that, it's just kind of like, whatever. All right, so last thing, fourth thing is no major technical errors. Real quick,
Should
black
we have
eyes
to
here.
say it? No. But you know what? You flubbed up. We're going to say it. This is your penance.
Yes. 8 frames of input delay, load times, matchmaking, rootkit, netcode issues. We could probably do 4 hours alone of a show here on the numerous technical issues that this game has had. And it's time to come out of the Cyberpunk 2077 era for Capcom's fighting games and actually released a polished product here, Capcom. I'm not saying Street Fighter 6 needs to be perfect, because no game is, right? But we should have a fairly polished experience here going into it, where things like the shop, which is a huge selling point for your game, actually works. And you can buy DLC characters and buy costumes and other things like that, instead of having to grind story mode with pure insanity. Because one of the starts of Street Fighter V is like, oh, people are like, hey, I want a certain color. Well, you were supposed to be able to buy that stuff from the shop, and you couldn't do that because the shop didn't work. And all of a sudden you had to grind survival mode if you wanted to unlock, a color. And I remember a bunch of pro players being like, this sucks. Like, I just want to like have my color, and like, you could get a bunch of fight money just for completing like whatever, right? And you could have easily bought those colors, and it's like, oh, that's nice. But it's like, no, that didn't work. You had to grind survival. You could not do it any other way. And it's just like, what? DLC characters were not released on time, and it was just like, okay, these characters are coming, like, we know we have a small launch roster, don't worry, they're coming right away. Oh, well, they're not coming right away, because there's our shops. So anyway, CFN, your much hyped system, which right now is freaking awesome. CFN is fantastic. Was not really functioning at launch pretty much at all. Like, to go in there and look at pretty much anything, it was like, oh, guess what? CFN does not freaking work. You're lucky if your matchmaking works. You're lucky if you don't get matched with the same person 7 times in a row. A bunch of other stuff. Again, CFN is great now, but these are like just like, you're playing an incomplete game. You're basically playing a incomplete beta at this point in time, and it was awful. And I just want to look at like games like Resident Evil 8, which I know you're playing, Devil May Cry 5, Monster Hunter World. If you can do this for your other major franchises, why the hell can't you get your crap together for fighting games? Because this is not just Street Fighter V, it's Marvel 3 not shipping with lobbies. It's Street Fighter Cross Tech and rollback code breaking the audio and causing desyncs, on disc DLC, and so much more. It shouldn't be this hard to delay a game a few months and iron out all these issues. And again, this is what we're seeing with Street Fighter 6, but I want to make this loud and clear because I don't want to see this crap happen again. I'm tired of it. I'm really freaking tired of it, because I think Marvel Infinite launched in a fairly complete state, but for me, I mean, for games that took hold in the community, it feels like it's been since Street Fighter 4 since we've had a complete launch for a fighting game from Capcom. And that's just, that's too damn long. Like, it's too many misses when we should just basically always be getting hits.
Now, do you think that with what we've seen from Capcom, especially in Season 5, with the new approaches with the updates and how they've been releasing DLC characters in the last let's say after Kage, after the last major time with the radio silence and doing things differently, with all that information and with the kind of problems that we're talking about here, and they're not easy to fix, but they're simple, and I think you can see them, right? They're not some mystery. It's just a matter of doing the work better, I think. But I think Capcom might know. I don't want to lead you too much. I want to ask, do you think that with Street Fighter 6, most or all of these boxes will be checked?
I mean, based on history, you have to be terrified, right? Like, I mean, I want to give Capcom the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I really love Street Fighter V. I'm not joking when I say it's my favorite Street Fighter game. But I mean, you look at Marvel 3, you look at Cross Tekken, you look at Street Fighter V, and it's just like, how are you supposed to have faith in that? Like, it's. I mean, I'm optimistic. I really hope it is, and I mean, I'm going in with like, I really hope, but like, just saying that that's going to be the case, it's like, why would I think that? So it sucks to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, despite your relatively pessimistic answer there, and as I think about it, and you guys know, if you've been following what I've written about Street Fighter, and I've talked about this on the podcast, Street Fighter V, I should say, I've been upset and frustrated with a lot of it, of course. All that said, I do have faith that Capcom is heard. Because I've seen them here on other fronts. And I guess I should say specifically Capcom's fighting game department, because a lot of their other departments, as you showed earlier, have done their job relatively well. I do think that they've heard that. They've heard it from places like Event Hubs, from places like Twitter, from all over the place. They're fans. They've been listening to them more. And I think they care about Street Fighter, and they've been reminded since whatever the nightmare was for us when Street Fighter V launched and had its first few years. Can you imagine what the nightmare was like for Capcom in the offices, responding to all this and dealing with all of this and you know,
boy.
Right. So I think that, one, they still want this franchise to work. I think Street Fighter V has obviously been successful enough to warrant more, and I think this will continue. I can't see them not learning the lessons here. With as loud as we've been whining, as hard as it's been, and as obvious, not easy, but obvious as many of the issues are. A lot of them are routine things that you just expect to be in a game. It feels almost weird going down this list and saying things like have a full game on launch, But here we are saying it. I can't see them making that mistake twice. I know what I just said, guys. I know. Please knock on all the wood in the world. So I get it. But I'm going to err on the side of a little optimism here and say I think that Street Fighter 6 is going to clean up a lot of this. Now, knock wood on everything that you can around you, but that's what I think.